Hey, how's it going? Mr. Hernandez here, and I want to go over a couple of these questions that were assigned on Desmos here. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just acknowledge that this is a binomial. There's two terms on the first one, and it's multiplying to another binomial, two terms on the second one. When I asked my classes which method they prefer to multiply polynomials, they said the box method or the area model. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. And let's go ahead and multiply. So 2n and 5n is 10n squared. N times n is n squared. 2n times a positive 6 is a positive 12n. Negative 3 times 5n is negative 15n, and then negative 3 times positive 6 is negative 18. So basically, I'm going to take each of these and put it in descending order. I'm going to get rid of this. This was not a minus. It's just a way to determine what's multiplying. So I'm going to put that one first. So that's 10n squared, and then these usually combine. So that's going to be, those do have like terms. So that's minus 3n, and then this one just gets carried down. All right, and that's what's basically going to go here. So let's see how everybody did. Okay, so it looks like a lot of these are correct. I did leave out another class, but all of them were correct. But what I wanted to look at were these here, because you could get a lot of information from looking at the answers that are off. So I think what happened here was this person wanted to add these two, 2n and 5n, to get 7n, and then combine these two as well to get a 3. But notice that right here, there's the parentheses that are touching. So that means you're multiplying. You could put a dot right there pretty much. And once you realize you have to multiply the two binomials, you could go ahead and set up the box. So I think that's what was going on over here. And then I think maybe the same thing here too. Okay, so this is going to basically follow the same pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and set this box up here. Okay, so there's going to be 6x squared. And just from knowing that this first term 6x squared, we could cross this one out. So these all have 6x squared. So this is just a, test-taking strategy here. Also, the last term, if we look at this bottom right corner, that's going to be negative 5t. So that's good, that's good, that's good. So these all have, those two components. What about these two, the middle terms diagonally? Let's see. Negative 3tx. I just put them in alphabetical order. But when you're multiplying variables, you could just put them next to each other. That means whenever they're touching, they're multiplying. So there's going to be positive 10x. Okay. So now I'm going to proceed to, kind of just say, all right, I'm going to rewrite this. These two generally add up. So instead of adding them up, I'm just going to rewrite them. And then there's going to be minus 5t. So again, these are two terms. Notice this one here. This one here there's no term in the middle. And the only way that would happen is if these cancel out and get you 0, or 0x or 0xt or whatever. But there's no, this negative 3 and 10 will not give you 0. So that won't cancel out. These two terms will stay there. So this can't be the right answer. So then the question is, are you going to get 7x from these two? Or are you going to get 10 minus 3tx there? Now this looks kind of weird, right? Why would you combine those two and make it a little more complicated? This one looks more complicated than this, but the question is, between these two, are you going to say that this and this give you 7x? Well, you really can't combine these two because this has a t and an x, this has an x. These are not like terms. In order for terms to be combined, they have to have the same letters, and this is missing the t, so you can't combine them. So this would be wrong. You wouldn't be able uh, to combine those two middle terms. But one thing you can do, which is what's happening here, is it's basically written as factored. This is a factored form here. And factored means divide. And really what that means is, what can you take out of both terms that they have in common? Well, they both have x, so I'm going to highlight the x. So if we have, let's say we take out the x here, we could basically just rewrite both of these terms without the x. The 3t and the 10. So we could bring down the plus 10. And notice that, you know, if you wanted to go from there back up, you could just distribute. Negative 3t times x is negative 3tx, and negative 10 times x is 10x. So you basically have an equivalent form here. This down here and these two terms up there are equivalent. And so did you need to know that in order to get this answer right? Well, no, you didn't. You just needed to know that you couldn't combine those two middle terms and get 7x. But you know, this is just, you know, many ways of getting this answer. So how did you guys do? So it looks like most of you in this class, everybody got the right answer. In this class, it was a tie. And so, you know, this could have been the right answer because you have these two, but yeah, you can't combine the middle term. This one, I would recognize those two terms, but then there's no middle term, right? It didn't cancel out. And then this one's missing the x squared. Anytime you're multiplying x times x, you're gonna get x squared. So yeah, just some test taking strategies there.